My brutal broskies, super welcome to yet another video showcasing the best and most brutal games dropping in the next month, which this time is October. This month, however, I'm featuring all kind of brutal games, not just first-person shooters. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I only feature first-person shooters. You know, it depends on the month. Nonetheless, I do think that all of the games in this video is going to appeal to you in one way or another. So why don't we go and watch it right now? Let's freaking go. Starting the video off is one of my most hyped up titles in 2025, Painted in Blood. The boomer shooter that combines horror and speed in a way that we don't see all that often. Following a painter's twisted nightmare, this game will take us through a gripping story taking place during World War II. It will feature some incredible atmospheric environments loaded with environmental storytelling, twisted monsters that have lots of depth and mechanics to them, requiring you to do more than just blind fire to take them down. A sweet combination of slow and fast with both arenas packed with enemies and corridors darker than the night itself. I was granted early access to the first 2 levels of the game, so if you want to get a closer look at what the game is, the video, it's ready to be watched whenever you like to. It features 50 minutes of raw gameplay with my bald head's commentary to it. Next, we got a game that might challenge the definition of crazy. It's a blend of strategy and sandbox gameplay where you are granted the ability to change the course of history. You can literally enter a medieval battleground, and in there you can spawn your own troops, tanks or weapons to play around with. So if you, my friend, ever dreamt of controlling a tank that will obliterate medieval troops with sword and armor, that dream can now become reality. Or maybe you dreamt of building a Wolfenstein castle and defending it from attacking armies. Fear not, in Kingmakers you can. Here is a snippet from the Steam page. How many swordsmen do you think you could take out with an AK-47? This is your chance to find out. Use assault rifles, shotguns, grenade launchers, armored SUVs, bikes, attack helos, airstrikes, and more to make sure the history altering goes smoothly. Put your sharpshooting skills to the test and wreak absolute havoc on the battlefield. And next up is Painkiller Reimagined. Reimagined into a co-op hero shooter. Oh, that actually sounds awful saying it like that, in all honesty. What I can't really get a grip around, however, is if it's going to be a linear campaign or a more traditional co-op, where you enter a level, finish it, and you go back to your hub world, where you can find your monetization. Okay, I'm sounding a bit harsh here, but nonetheless, I can firmly say that I do not like this reimagined version on paper one bit. I don't like that there is different classes in my Painkiller, and I don't like that its main focus is co-op. What I do like, however, is how it looks graphically, very modern Doom-like, and I do like the speed and brutality of the combat. It's actually looking really dang good. But do I want my brand new Painkiller game to look like this? I'm actually not sure. A part of me loves this style so much that I don't mind it. Another part of me thinks it looks too bright and modern doomy for a Painkiller-like. It's not even a Painkiller-like, it is Painkiller. One could say that I am very conflicted as to what I'm feeling about the game, but I do hope it turns out phenomenally good in the end, and we can find out very soon, my broskis. Broski, well, I got you on the hook. Why don't you go ahead and join the Discord link down below? It's a super cool place. Some people started growing hair on their head, some people started growing hair down there once they joined the Discord. Some people even made lifelong friends, including this guy right here. So why don't you become one of the cool kids and join the Discord? And if you want to become a sponsor of this bald man, go ahead and hit that membership button as well. You can do it for as low as 99 cents a month, and I would really appreciate it. Now, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Now, I'm going to fulfill your time. Let's check out some more games dropping in October. Ah yes, the mini-humans. They return in the world of scary abominations and dark puzzling. Little Nightmares 3, just as the other two, offers a side-scrolling 3D adventure that can be played solo or in co-op, with tons of interactivity, puzzling, and things that needs to be solved or done together. Meaning that if you play this solo, the other part is controlled by an AI. The absolute biggest difference here, however, is that the game has completely changed developer. The first two games were created by Tracier Studios, but they have moved on and are now developing a very similar game called Reanimal, while the team in charge of Little Nightmares 3 is the same team that gave us the highly praised The Quarry. And if that makes you sit a little bit on the edge about the game, I can inform you that there is a demo available, and without having played it myself, I've actually watched it. And it honestly just looks as great as the prior two games. Now coming up might be the horror co-op FPS that we have all been waiting for. Oh, and it's also completely playable solo. It takes the deep space sci-fi horror formula, adds a ton of gore, shocking scenery and a motion tracker. It then blends it into a progression-based co-op game where you can upgrade your gear and character. You play as a mercenary sent aboard an abandoned spaceship, and your job? Execute high-risk contracts, make it out alive and claim your reward. Which, yeah, it does sound like we have done that before and it sounds quite simple, but the environments and the horror elements is what really tingles me here. And the fact that whenever we play this, we have to keep in mind that we're not alone. Something is always hunting us. And then we're also getting the very beloved new extraction shooter called Arc Raiders, developed by the fairly newfound studio that gave us the finals. Arc Raiders was actually initially meant to drop before the finals as a free-to-play co-op shooter, but it was delayed and flipped upside down into a $40 extraction shooter. And honestly, I don't mind that much at all, but I do hope that the monetization model is also revamped, as it went from free-to-play to actually pay-to-play. Nonetheless, the game had a playtest running a few months back and people simply loved it. They loved it for its incredible visuals, engaging gameplay and great progression. But the real question is, will you be letting yourself getting sucked into the multiplayer world of an extraction shooter? Hell, I might just give it a spin or 5 upon its launch, and I'm actually excited to see a top-of-the-line game developed in Sweden once again. Now, Misery is a 1 to 5 player co-op survival game set in a nuclear disaster zone. Here, every day is a struggle. We have to search radioactive ruins for resources, build our bunker, craft weapons, and explore a weird, procedurally generated world with our friends or alone. We also have to beware of anomalies, monsters, and armed bandits. It's essentially a more gritty, more indie, more co-op focused version of Stalker. And I mean, is that really a bad thing? No, not at all. However, it did have a playtest running a while back, and I love the gritty look and the general atmosphere of the game, but I did find the controls a bit clunky and the actual survival elements like hunger and radiation more frustrating than anything else. All of that can of course have been polished up for the full release, but we can't know for sure until October the 23rd. And also keep in mind that this is a roguelite experience. Regardless, the game showed insane potential, and I have very little doubt that this will be anything but a big hit inside of the indie scene. Now, Battlefield 6 is another game on the list who's had a playtest that was very well received. Some even call this the Call of Duty killer, even though I arguably claim that they are quite different apart from being military shooters. And as one would expect from a new Battlefield game, its goal is to improve, increase and make every aspect cooler than the prior game. And according to the playtests, it seems that this is the case. The one major complaint I have seen is that generally the multiplayer maps are too small for a Battlefield experience. And in my head, that doesn't sound all bad, honestly. In previous games, a lot of the maps were simply too big, and bigger is not always better in this instance. But all of that is for the multiplayer junkies. What I'm the most excited about is the campaign. You see, Battlefield 3 and 4 had some decent, really cinematic action movie-like campaigns, and I like them. Sure, yeah, they could have been better in many regards, but when it comes to a full-blown military cinematic experience, they nailed it, and Battlefield 6 looks like it might just do it as well. Now in the next one we get to unleash brutal justice as Night Jackal, a masked vigilante driven to the edge after a violent assault on his manor, leaving his world shattered. All signs point to his arch nemesis, the elusive Bert the Barbarous. But is there a deeper conspiracy afoot? Well, I actually have no idea, but I do know that on the 9th of October we are finding out with a release party stream, so I highly suggest that you join in on that. For the newcomers to the bite-sized boomer shooter genre, however, this is published by the best out there. The price, it will be fair, the length will be enough for a weekend's play, and the fun is always there. Oh yes, the Lacerator is coming out. Woohoo! A game I personally thought wasn't going to be for me until I played the demo of it. The demo that perfectly shows the excellence of the game, both in terms of horror, story, humor, level design and innovative ideas, like losing your entire arm in a trap or outsmarting the trap and keeping your arm. Regardless, you have to adapt and the game keeps on going no matter what limbs you lose. It's a proper old school horror experience with some modern touches to it. As an example, you can play the game fully in fixed camera position, but if you want to, you can change it to over the shoulder. Now in this game, it was just another erotic encounter from Max, one of the most famous porn stars of the 1980s. But things, they get extra hard when the job requires more limbs than usual after Max and the crew are captured by the Lacerator. And last but not least for October is Deathground, a dinosaur horror game with 1 to 4 players that throws you into a desperate battle for survival versus dinosaurs themselves. And judging from the footage we have, it does look like a really cool experience, but I do wonder for how long it will be that. I don't see myself replaying levels completing simple objectives while always hiding or running from dinos. It does however say in its information sheet that there is combat in the game, but there's no footage of it, so I can't say much about it. More than at one point in the information sheet, a tranquilizer rifle is mentioned, which just makes this little guy between the legs lay down flat like he's lost the love of his life. Broskis, thank you a million times for watching all the way to the mother flipping end of this video. Retention means so much on YouTube, so I'm really grateful to still have you here. And all of that said, you know, I think you're awesome, and Papa Slim, he will see you in the next one. Over and out, my broskis.